What is going on, THL? Welcome to another amazing episode of Tavern Talk, THL's first and only official recap show. Sorry, there's shenanigans and tomfoolery going on already. And actually, before we take another step forward, I got to put this disclaimer up here. I would like to warn everybody that myself, Cassie, Slimch, and the rest of THL cannot be held responsible for any hurt feelings of our viewers. We condone no actions or shenanigans of our guests, nor ourselves. Please do not try any of this at home.
Bunch of savages.
Our views and opinions
That
expressed
voice.
on this show are not representative of THL as a whole, but rather as each individual that expresses them. Kappa.
All right, guys. So on tap tonight, we're gonna have the one and only D Lyman with us in a little bit. Our rules for tonight: whenever myself decides I want to cry about the potential of Entropy missing the playoffs for the first time in THL history, whenever we make a Super Saiyan reference, the softest, the softest of references.
The softest.
Anytime the word trash is used, when D Lyman says something offensive, I promise you it will happen. And anytime chat is appalled by any of our behavior, which I promise you that will also happen. With me, as always, you know what I just realized? I have Mr. D Lyman already on the camera because I forgot to change that. So D Lyman, you can wave hi to the crowd. But with me, as always, I have the bearded beauty, the one and only Mr. Slimch. How you doing tonight, Slimch?
Doing great. Sorry for ruining that beautiful Murloc intro, although I think we had a better one that we could have used.
Yeah, I overruled Slimch's nomination. Maybe it'll be used in the future or at the closing of this show. I don't know.
Whatever you feel like.
And as always, the beautiful man below me, Mr. Cassie. How you doing tonight?
A loon guide my lance. How's everybody doing?
Guys, we've been having a blast already, and the show hasn't even started. With that being said, and because I forgot to block off his face there, we're just gonna go ahead and introduce our guest for the week, Mr. D Lyman, now, and we're gonna talk about him, I guess. I guess that's kind of what we do with our guests here. So, Mr. D Lyman, let's start this off by talking about the experience you have for playing on the one and only Archon Storm. How has that been for you?
Bunch of fucking tryhards, I swear.
How did you not know you were getting into that, though?
I mean, they're cool guys. Nah, it's fun. They're a lot of cool guys.
Just a lot of emails to read, right?
I mean, it is what it is. Is that seltzer water? That seltzer water? No, man. This is vodka and Arnold Palmer Nubasaurus. Fuck out of here.
That's your teammate.
Get that trash out of here.
There we go.
Oh God. Trash.
Oh man.
No, it's a good team. It's a good. I mean, they carried my sorry ass for the past 3 weeks because I suck at this game.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, you only have what, like 140 something legend? Where are you? Legend 148 now?
Well, nah. Since I tried out Desert Camel, now I'm Legend 238. But
Feels bad, man. Is the
Out
card
of
trash?
239.
Feels bad.
you know,
Oh man. So many of us know you here around the THL. You've become quite the personality here, but I know it's also true that you participate in a lot of other online tournaments. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like,
Yeah,
where are you at?
well, I play in like at least three tournaments a week. I not as much the past couple of months because there weren't any BlizzCon points to be earned, but trying to go to BlizzCon, man. That's the goal. So I play in a lot of tournaments, and it's great. It's great competitive practice because the thing is about tournaments, about best of fives, like the ladder sucks, right?
Right.
Ladder is shitty because you're going to see a certain deck that's dominating the meta at least like 30 to 40% of the time on some days, right? On other days, like it falls down to like 25% or though, but at least in like a best of five, you can construct a lineup that positions yourself around that in a way that doesn't have you lose to everything else in the tournament, right? Whereas in ladder, it's like you just have to deal with the fact that you're gonna be facing secret paladins all the time. And not only that, but coming up with a best of five lineup, building a deck for a best of five lineup that's good for a field of a tournament in that meta requires much more thought than playing any Hearthstone game on ladder. And people probably know this about me, but like whenever I get bored of playing Hearthstone, I play chess because I prefer to play a game where I'm thinking more, and tournaments allow me to do that.
So I guess you're not a hunter player then, huh?
I mean, I got Golden Hunter back when Unleash the Hounds was 2 mana, but since then,
And you like to think playing Hearthstone.
but since then, no, I don't play much.
Face has taunt. Talking about Hearthstone things and things you enjoy within the game of Hearthstone. I just wanted to know what your opinions were on my favorite card, Unstable Portal.
Fuck that card. Are you kidding? Get the fuck out of here. That
Should have been every time D. Lyman says the word fuck, we take a drink.
What's the amazing thing about OBS is that as we're sitting here, streaming this thing, I could go ahead and just type that in. We're also gonna add the words. We're gonna make words plural, and we're gonna do trash and fuck.
All right,
There we go.
That's a drink then.
Oh,
Fucking trash.
and fuck.
But actually, though, like Unstable Portal is such a shitty card, right? Because like the thing about Unstable Portal is that Mage is the class that has access to it. The problem with that is that in any other class besides maybe Druid, Unstable Portal is much better because you basically treat it as a pseudo innervate, right? But the problem with the Mage decks is that they have Source's Apprentice. So as soon as you're already making the minion cost more than 2 less, and then because of Source's Apprentice, that card can now cost 1. And the third thing that's terrible about it is that brings cards from other classes, and it gives the mage access to it with ramp. And the big problem with that is that it removes the effective strategy in the game. Because like, take your opponent now. Your opponent is can play around mage cards viably well. They can play around neutral cards viably well. But when you bring in cards from other classes that have special interactions that neutral cards don't have, then it makes it so that your opponent can no longer effectively strategize around that card. So it has the significant game-changing potential that falls out of line of what you'd want in a competitive environment.
So do you think, like,
tournaments,
I don't want to cut you off too early, but if it was discover a card or discover a minion, that minion costs 3 less, would you be more okay with it?
no, because if you're going to
Be
make it
worse.
cost 3 less, you shouldn't have a choice.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the choice.
Yeah.
Good
Gotta
point.
balance that randomness.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing, and that's what's problematic about it, right? Like Blizzard said something about Piloted Shredder, where they said that guaranteed that they like Piloted Shredder because it gives them guaranteed value.
Yeah.
But that's not a good thing, right? Cards should not have random elements to them that don't boil down to simply coin flips and die rolls, and then have it be guaranteed positive value. Right,
Yeah.
that's a terrible construction of a card, and that's what Unstable Portal is. It's guaranteed positive value, unless obviously you're getting a minion that costs 1 or 0 mana,
Right.
and that's incredibly unlikely. It's ridiculous.
I think if it costs 0 mana, they should give you 2.
Your portal back.
Yeah, give you the portal
Oh,
back
man.
or give you 2 crystals
Hey,
this
just shut
turn.
your little mouth about that.
Most broken card ever.
You like the adventure wing, right?
Oh my god, no, I'm triggered.
I read the
I'm
chapter.
triggered.
You went 0-3 versus that boss.
The mission of the night is to keep you triggered. Steady
Those
trigger
portals-
D-line.
It took me 4 games to beat that fucking Unstable Portal boss, and the only reason why I was able to do it was because it gave me a 7/5 weapon for that rare card weapon.
Oh,
And that's the only way I was able to beat it, because it got you Sarah off of that Unstable Portal twice in that game. I hate this fucking game.
You wait, isn't that Refram or Refam or whatever this fucking name is? Is that the one that had the unstable portal?
No. Wait, is it? Yeah, that's the one. The
It
one
is,
that takes your deck. Yeah, it didn't matter how many wisps I gave it, because it had unstable portal. Like, fucking, and in one of the games, it got Hobgoblin off of unstable portal.
Yeah, super balanced, dude.
So we got to use those wisps and
I
Murloc.
got to use
Tiny
the
Fins
wisps
that
and the
you get.
Murloc Tiny Fin
Yep.
and the fucking Light Warden I gave it. Yeah, fuck this game.
Right?
So good.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Yeah, we're almost 1 IPA down. We just started. Wonderful.
This was a bad night to choose to switch to whiskey. Ugh. So on to actual things that don't involve D lineman raging.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it soon.
Yeah, we will. We will talk about it as we talk about the week that was in THL.
Okay.
Actually, D lineman, how did your match go this past week?
Oh, it went well, just not for me. Someone got 3 wins.
Somebody got 0, right?
And there was, I would say that the win differential was also 3.
Illuminati confirmed.
Just
Half-Life
not
3
guys.
confirmed.
Oh my god.
See, the thing is that I was looking at the PRs of each team, and I noticed that it said PR cap was 1850, and we were above that, right?
So you had to adjust and bring that down.
Me being in the three hole and having a high PR and going up against people who have at least 100 fewer PR than I do, that's a
D-lineman
prime
driving the
opportunity
tank.
for me to help balance my team's PR and stay
Taking
on
one for the team.
meta, making strong, advanced like future decisions. I'm trying to take less to stay on.
Who needs
Oh,
that
you guys
playoff
need to take a
seeding?
lot less because you're at what 1860.
I'm
going
working
into that
on it.
matchup.
I'm putting my best effort forward. All right.
Oh man, you're battling me at PR now. Feels bad, man.
Wow.
I'm gonna be at 350 by the end of the season, man. Our Storm is staying together.
That's a promise.
Keep the band together.
You're gonna
please.
be the 4 seed. D4 lineman.
Jesus Christ, that's a scary thought.
Oh,
So on this past week's Salty Saturday, we saw a few interesting things come to fruition there. One of them being a well anticipated matchup between Katoda and Yuri that I know we were all very hyped about last week on the show. I think it's safe to say I am not the only one that was shocked at the outcome. For those of you who didn't catch it, spoiler alert: 3, 2, 1. Katoda getting 3-0'd. Slimsh. Thoughts?
well, I think as I was watching it, I think Katoda could have lined up a few classes and decks better throughout the series. I think he cornered himself on the priest a little bit, where it may not have been totally necessary. Maybe he had some thought process about, like, as the series went on, maybe that was a weak deck in his mind and he kind of wanted to get rid of it. But I think there were a few opportunities to queue up slightly better from his perspective. I can't say for sure because I don't pick a lot of lineups like Katoda does with the priest and rogue, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very rare throughout the league for people to bring those two classes simultaneously, for one thing. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really easy for like us on the outside to look in and see things that could have done better. The casters are pointing it out. I mean, Yuri is definitely very scary. No discredit to him for how the series went, but I think it could have been planned slightly better throughout.
Cassie, D lineman, either one of you got thoughts to throw in on that?
Yuri's really awesome.
What great analysis from
Wow.
Cassie.
No, I
there.
mean he just like plays everything at a high level and plays decks that feel like they're behind the meta, but then they crush decks that are ahead of the meta. Like I feel like he's just next level.
Yeah, I mean, going into that match, both of them were sitting at 500 PR, which is our max according to our current formula. So, there's definitely something to be said about the fact that he 3-0'd somebody that we all have such high esteem for and high regards for. Definitely a statement win for Yuri, as if he needed one. We also saw...
Wait, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Katoda bought Rogue, and that's a mistake. All right, that's all. I got.
Mill
Wow.
Rogue, no less.
Hating
Would you say that Rogue is a trash class?
Oh, Rogue is definitely
Rogue
trash.
Rogue is super trash. Are you kidding?
Oh, that's like 3 right there.
Mm-hmm.
God, like I'm like look at every other class and what they do at every single mana point, and then look what a Rogue does at the same mana point. Right? It's like Rogue needs to use like 3 cards to respond to any other class's turn 5, and still doesn't play a 5-drop unless they have prep. That's so That's so shitty. Are you
They gotta
kidding?
get through their whole deck. You're making your captain cry right now, though.
Ridiculous. And Katoda brought Rogue, so he got swept. That's what happens.
That's what happened. In round number 2, we saw myself face off against Mr. Nubasaurus Um, I lost 3-1 just as predicted, which by the way put me ahead in the predictions. Picking against myself made me a winner in some regards.
Rigged.
Yeah, it was. And actually, I'm calling shenanigans and tomfoolery on Nubasaurus because for once I did my homework, and every single time Druid was available to ban, Nubasaurus banned it. So I brought a Druid. I'm not saying it was a good Druid,
Oh, we know that part.
but he actually decided to ban out what did he ban out instead? My Paladin, which is one of my favorite classes to play.
It's a
So
reasonable ban.
I might be playing head games. I might not. Sergeant Hendog, you should ban my Paladin this week. I really like Paladin. Um, but I hope everyone was entertained. I try to bring something to make you guys laugh every time I'm on Salty Saturday. But I do have to admit, man, very impressed with Nubasaurus' play, especially seeing as that was their 5-spot player. Any further thoughts or insight you guys want to add in that matchup? Obviously, I'm biased and thought it was the most fun matchup of the weekend.
I don't know.
One player brought Beast Druid, and that player lost.
Yo, but Dank Whispers. Dank Whispers.
call.
Dank whispers.
I do want to point out to chat though, because don't want it to go unmentioned. Salt just said he's going to 3-0 Yuri this week, and says he nailed his class selections to a T, and has high win rates against all of Yuri's classes, and is going to beat him 3-0.
It's hard.
So-
There's about a 30% chance.
I'm taking him up. I think Yuri's going to be dethroned.
Good.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, here's the
another
thing.
undefeated player goes down.
Yep,
We know
that
Salt's
could
not
happen.
being streamed this week, and when not being streamed, Salt wins.
It's
So,
pretty good, unless he beats me on stream.
well, that doesn't count because
Yeah.
And then one last thing I wanted to talk about because it's another rule implication for the league. I always like to visit these as a public service announcement when they happen. Grim going down 3-0. Bringing Shaman all 3 times, but not exactly bringing the same Shaman each time. My only thoughts on that, guys, are this is the argument that's kind of going around right now as to whether or not we should only have one deck per class or not. It keeps mix-ups from like this from happening, but at the same time, I understand we're all tech in different ways. Did you guys want to add anything in on that?
I think that everyone should only have one deck with each class prepared. I think that yields itself to better preparation on the players, which requires higher skill, and it increases the importance of research, right? And I don't see any problem in that regard. I feel like being able to bring multiple decks for each class is sort of a bailout for poor preparation and poor decision making in deck construction, and you shouldn't be rewarded for bringing 3 Warlock decks where one has a sacrificial pact because you know your opponent's playing a handlock. Like, I think that's just ridiculous and non-competitive.
That's a take on it.
Interesting.
Now,
All
here's I'm gonna play devil's advocate because that's what I like doing. I would counter that by saying there's 2 different types of players in the THL, in my opinion, as far as the skill and the meta of the THL specifically. There are those players who, as long as they know they have a deck that is from top to bottom a solid deck, they think they can outskill anybody they play. And there are definitely guys in our league that, as Cassie was just pointing out with Yuri a second ago, there are guys in our league that play on a whole different level and understand how to read the game as it goes. And there's people like myself and a few others who our strategy tends to come not so much from what we do in game, but in that rock paper scissors preparation of I'm bringing Paladin, but based on what I see in my first 2 games, I might have these different archetypes of Paladin ready to go, and I'll make that selection. So there's different layers to the meta that different people enjoy, and I can definitely see both sides. Let's draw our swords and fight versus, you know what, you're bringing a sword, fuck you, I have a pistol.
But that's not mutually exclusive, right? Like, that next level player that you mentioned can do that same thing.
Absolutely.
That a lower level player does. The only thing is that the lower level player is given a handicap by having this option available to him, right? Like even like just like simply having the option to bring 4 different druid decks that are tech in different ways, it marginalizes that advantage that the better player had to begin with, and I
I
don't
would
think
agree.
that's reasonable.
All right.
So
Well,
there's some thoughts on the topic, guys.
yeah,
And it
it's
is something that has been circulating around the THL, the various different circles, talking about setting up for next season. As you guys know, we always like to mix things up and consider different options, and um, it could be something we see in the future. The limitation of how many decks you could bring per class.
yeah.
So
Actually, can I talk about that for a quick
no,
sec?
Slims, you are never allowed to talk on this show
Oh,
ever, because
feel
you
Grow
are
bad.
your beard and be quiet.
you are trash, Slims, utter
Oh
trash.
God.
Oh man,
I'm trash. No,
guys, we're gonna be so
so
drunk.
this is something that I brought up to the board because I had my match with Evie Parker in week 3, and he gave me that feedback that maybe we should switch to this format where we take screenshots and make sure that we only have one deck built per class. And I can see both sides being pretty good. We'll definitely be thinking about it. And I still think that limited to one class and one deck for that class with the preparation that you have beforehand, I still think that you can come up with some pretty cool, like teched out, um, interesting decks to prepare for a lineup. Like for example, versus the match I had with MB Parker that I think may have prompted him to talk to me about this was that um, I had like a special Reno Paladin setup. It was just ridiculous. This Paladin, what it could do to things like Freeze Mage and Hunter. So like you definitely have the opportunity to do those with our format with multiple decks, things like that. But the funny thing was, I was even going to do it. Like that was the only Paladin I ever intended on playing because his lineup was so strong versus Paladin. So I figured I had to do something crazy because it's not getting banned. Um, so I don't know. It's interesting stuff for sure.
Yeah,
to
it's
talk
food for
about.
thought. And as we come into the off season, I'm sure this conversation will turn into um, something more concrete.
Yeah.
So, week 5. Uh, th- this is a 6-week season as far as regular season goes. So we are kind of in that do or die situation for a lot of folks. Um, and I'm actually going to pop the standings up in the middle here as we talk about this. These are the standings as they currently sit in the THL.
I think we still have winning bonuses to be added from last week.
So
So we're within like 3 points of where
it's
teams are.
fairly accurate, give
Yeah.
or take, plus or minus 3 points here and there.
Mhm.
All right. So coming into week 5, we have some teams that are in win or out situations, even with there being an additional week to play.
Yeah.
Um, some of these teams are in the 4 or 5 spot and actually line up. They make for some interesting lineups in matchups this week.
Yeah.
It also comes down to the time where players need to step up, and we're looking at individual players that this week need to win, as well as players who could, with a statement win, be this season's Clark Kent and lock down their THL MVP status. So rather than going down, guys, on the notes list by list, I'm opening all these topics up for discussion right now. But to get things rolling, we could start with the sleeper of the week. All right. I'm looking for either a player or a team as a whole who you think has the shot for the upset this week to put their team where they need to be moving forward. Do you want me to call you out, or am I gonna take volunteers?
I'll give you one.
All right, Cassie.
So over in the red division, repping right here, we have such a close race. We've got Team Rank 5 and Gosu Casuals are actually tied for first at 64 points a pop, and Zenergy is in second at 63 points. And funny the way the season's going to end. The Gosu Casuals play Zenergy this week, and then Zenergy plays Team Rank 5 next week. And so Zenergy, who was way ahead early on, now has to play their 2 biggest competitors to end the season. And
Wow.
Wow.
they could build so much momentum going into playoffs, beating high caliber teams, or they could be beaten and go and lose momentum going into playoffs. And so in that matchup, Vendy Click was undefeated up until last week, I believe. And Michael, for the Gosu Casuals, is one of the few remaining unbeatens this week. And I'm going to go out, even though the PRs disagree. I mean, Michael's undefeated, so I think he would be favored to win that matchup. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Vendy Click's going to take that. And I think that's going to parlay's energy into a close win this week.
Wow.
So that is my pick for you.
Okay. Slimps, you got yours ready?
Yeah, I'm going team wise here. I don't know. I'm picking a true sleeper here, and it's one that's close to your heart. Entropy. I think you guys are going up. You guys need the points real bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Angry Chicken fan club, they got beaten up pretty hard by Team Supreme last week.
Yeah.
You guys are kind of clawing it back a little bit. You did pretty well in your series versus Archon Storm, I think.
We
All
tried.
things
We
considered,
tried
like,
really hard. Actually, it
that's-
came down to the final match, which I believe
Yeah, it
for
did.
everybody.
Yeah, like that's tough to go up against. I think you guys are, I don't know, like I believe from what I hear about your team dynamics that you've got something good going on in the background. I think you can carry some of it and take, maybe not like, it would take a really dominating win over the Angry Chicken fan club to get like solid back in the standings, but I think you can take a win over them.
Well, I
as a whole.
appreciate that because we are definitely one of those teams that I think this is a win or out. This is
Yeah.
one and done, right? We either win or next week we're just playing to ruin somebody else's Cinderella story. D. Lyman, do you have a sleeper for us this week?
Yeah, I got a team, Harry Generals. I think that right now the Harry Generals and the Angry Chicken Fan Club are both in, like, they're both tied, right? And they're both in a very they both need almost to win out, right? If they want to guarantee one of the top three.
Yeah, I don't think both of those teams are going to get in.
Right. So
Looking at the standings. Well, they could.
Did they play each other yet?
This week they got
I believe they did.
well, this week, you got the Angry Chicken Fan Club playing against us, which a loss for them against us puts us within striking distance of them.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas I'm looking at the schedule for week 7, we do have or sorry, not week 7.
6.
Week 6. Who are we talking about again? Sorry, guys. Whiskey does this to you.
Oh, no.
They have Archon Storm coming up week 6, which is going to be a tough matchup for them. And then the Harry Generals week 6 take on, once again, Entropy. So Entropy's lined up to face the two people directly in front of them holding our potential playoff spot. Which if we miss the playoffs, it'll be the first time in THL history there'll be a postseason without Entropy.
Yeah,
Everybody have a drink on that one. I spilled
So
beer on my
Entropy
chest.
has, like, they're way down, but they definitely hold their fate in their own hands. Like, if they win both their matches, they're in easy.
Yeah, and I think Entropy beats Angry Chicken Fan Club this week. The only thing is that Harry Generals would need to capitalize off of that, right? If they also lose, it doesn't really help much. And honestly, I think that Harry Generals can do it. Like, Detrucci already got his win against Supreme's 5 seed.
He did.
Yep, he sure did.
So that gives them some wiggle room, and it was a 3-1 win too, which is pretty good. And I'm looking at Jedi Ninja against Moo, and I think that's going to be the one that decides it.
Could be.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you know what? You actually just stole my sleeper pick for the week.
Yeah, get fucked.
That was a fuck, ladies and gentlemen.
We've been talking the Harry Generals up all throughout.
Yeah, I mean, they're a solid squad. A good group
Yep.
of dudes with some solid Hearthstone minds. And my pick for the week for the sleeper was going to be our Supreme Overlord Jedi over Moo. There's about 100 PR difference there, but I know that when it comes push to shove and Jedi's got to come through for a squad, I think he locks it down this week with, it's going to be a close one, but I think he still takes a victory here.
Nice.
Which kind of brings us to, we've already sort of been talking about this, but I was also going to say that I think the fulcrum of that matchup for this week between the Harry Generals and it's Supreme, I think it's all going to kind of hinge on that Jedi Moo matchup.
Sounds about right.
So I would say that he could be the 1 week MVP if he could come through for his team there. Speaking of MVPs, Cassidy, do you have a front runner this season for MVP of the league. Do you see?
I do.
Yeah? Who would that be?
He is currently sitting on this casting panel.
Wow.
Aw.
He goes by the moniker Slim Shady, spelled incorrectly, but pronunciation is key. And he's undefeated. He's leading a team that I believe missed playoffs last year and is now tied for first in their conference. And does a ton of work prepping his entire team each week, and it is showing this season. So I think he's a distant front runner at the moment. That being the bearded beauty Slimsh.
Thank you.
Wow. D. Lyman, do you have a current favorite for MVP?
I do. I had someone who's carrying another first place team, and Hertz Donut. Even though, like, obviously I'm on Archon Storm, so there may be a little bit of bias there.
Oh, that's
but
a good one.
But he's also undefeated, and straight up, like I'm underperforming. Verde has a couple of losses that aren't very pretty, and we have someone else on our team who's doing all right in the 5 seed, but us being in first place right now is a miracle, and that miracle is Hertz Donut.
Wow.
And
are Hertz, Dan, you are D. Lyman's miracle.
And looking ahead as well, Hertz Donut being in the 4 seed, because like part of this prediction is them keeping up performances. He's in the 4 seed, and I don't see the quality of his opponents being that which can threaten his
status.
Yeah, as a potential MVP.
Slimsh, so you already got some love from Cassidy. Who's your lock-in for MVP this season? This is actually one of my favorite topics this week, guys. I'm sorry to spend so much time on it.
I wish I could give that love back to myself. Like, yeah, I haven't dropped games yet this season, but I don't know. Like, half my games were reverse sweeps, which just feel like they feel good, but they feel terrible at the same time. Like, you had to fight back so hard to get the win. I did it week 1 versus Salt, and I also had to do it versus MP Parker in week 3. So I don't know. Like, I can't pick myself. I'm going to give it to what I'm looking when it comes to this MVP team is looking like to the past when it was Clark Kent. Not only was a part of a team who did very well, obviously winning season Kappa. I think the pattern for other MVPs would be clear, like teams that are overall doing well, players that are doing extremely well. That's what you look for in your most valuable player. Just crazy win rates. I'm just gonna give it to my teammate Michael instead. I think he's been far more consistent and dominant in his performances.
You did call that in our preseason show too. You were like, "We're so excited, we picked him up, and he hasn't lost yet." So
yeah,
kudos.
He's new. It's great. So hope that keeps going.
And you put me in an awkward position, Slim, because I was hoping that you wouldn't pick Michael, or I like to call him Mikael, because it just makes me feel cool. So here's the deal. I look at this in 2 ways. I have kind of a tie in my mind for MVP, both of them being on the Gosu Casuals, in the man to my left, Mr. Slimsh, because I think that anybody that could go through this league in a 1 spot without dropping a game, or not a game, but like a match, I think that's huge, man. We have a lot of really talented people here, and to be able to make it through the gauntlet that is the 1 spot in THL is commendable in my opinion. However, I think I'm gonna have to give the nod to Michael, just because the 3 seat in this league could be such a toss-up. You know what I mean? He's coming in at like a 390 PR, which is very respectable. But there's weeks where he's going up against people in the 450 range. And, sometimes I saw that face. But if you look, people like D. Lyman's pushing the 4th. He lost, and he's at 430.
Oh, yeah. I just didn't realize he came in so high.
You know what's important to consider also when it comes to Michael? Not to discredit the winning, but in week 3, he got a DQ win over Moo from Team Supreme. So there's that.
There is that.
Like, don't take.
He got hit by the pitch, but he got on base.
Yeah, he took one for the team there, man. I'm not gonna lie, I get bummed out when I get a DQ win. Yeah, it's 4 points.
I don't.
It's points for my team, but however, I joined this league to play and do things like stream Druid, Beast Druid. So week 5, the do or die kind of matchups seem to, most of the playoff implications kind of seem, in my opinion, to be in the 4 and 5 spots, right? A lot of the sixes, and I would even put Entropy as one of those teams that could potentially fall down in this range right now. A lot of the sixes are kind of holding on to dreams, right? They're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah,
The one
that's
seats,
fair.
1 through 3 and 4 in most divisions, as long as they win one of the 2 remaining weeks, you could kind of hold on to your playoff spots. However, the 4 and 5 race in both divisions is so close that every last one of these matchups matter. And a
Mhm.
couple that I want to highlight, and I know we already went over this one, so I'm just going to mention it. If there's any further thoughts, we could talk about it, or we could just pass on it. But it's the matchup between 5th place Entropy and 3rd place Angry Chicken Fan Club in the blue division. We already talked about how it is a must-win for Entropy. However, if the Angry Chicken Fan Club could get a decisive win over us this week, it almost assures them at least the 4th spot.
Oh yeah, if they get a big win, they're in. Period.
Probably, especially if the Hairy Generals beat up Supreme. Like, that's just great for the Angry Chickens.
The Angry Chickens would have to get like 20 owed next week to not get in.
Yep.
If they can score like 15 this week.
So nobody disagrees there?
No.
Then we move on.
Reasonable.
We also talked about the Hairy Generals and Team Supreme and what this could mean for the Hairy Generals. And, you know, the positions, the way that your division over there in red is, or the way our division is over here in blue, I was looking ahead on the notes. A decisive win by the Hairy Generals right now could actually flip-flop the positioning of Supreme and Hairy Generals on the 1
yeah.
through 4 list,
Mm-hmm.
potentially locking them in a better opponent in the playoffs. We already touched on that, but I'll offer anybody else need any input on that. Anything we haven't covered yet? Thoughts on that one?
No, I think we got it.
All right. Now here's one we haven't talked about yet that I think is actually interesting. All right. Pure strategy versus those filthy casuals.
What?
Soon to be those filthy role
players.
Those
Filthy
filthy role players.
Role players.
All right. So here's my thoughts on it, and feel free to weigh in whichever way you want to. I think this is a chance for pure strategy to completely take the filthy casuals out of the conversation for this season.
Oh, definitely.
I see this as an opportunity for them to make it a 5-team race in red. But also, I see it as if we even want to be considered as a potential 4 seed, a must-win for filthy casuals.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
And not even do they have to win; they have to win big.
Wait, quick question. Is how many teams from each conference make it? 3?
4.
There's gonna be 4.
Oh,
4.
all right.
That was decided this week. The top
But-
4 on each side are going to get in.
However,
Actually, it was in the rules all along.
it was in the rules all
Oh,
along.
okay.
Whoops.
However, the way these races are, it kind of seems that the top 4 teams in both divisions, I know we initially thought that 4 was a lot, but when you see the way these divisions are shaping up this season, it kind of feels right. In
Yeah.
both divisions, there seems to be 4 teams rising above the remaining
The other
2
two,
who are
yeah.
dropping behind.
I
Do you
don't know,
guys
man.
think that the Filthy Casuals have a shot this week?
Well, it's Hearthstone, so they always have a shot.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
getting a hand. You're getting dealt 3 or
Yep.
4 cards to start, right?
And a lot of those cards are based on RNG.
So
Oh,
So they definitely have a shot. They're going to need to pull off a Noob Central-esque run like what
They can
happened
still
last
bring
season.
Mage in their lineup and play unstable portals.
There you go. That's a
There
drink.
you go. You got a good shot of winning with
unstable portals indeed. By the way, I was really hoping Super Sam was going to be in the chat tonight. I have some
Oh,
questions
that's
for
another
him.
drink.
Oh, what's
Got
Super?
to find out how much faith he put in
Maybe
the
maybe
light
he's too
yesterday.
busy with it. Maybe he's too busy with his girl.
He's too busy getting it in with them Hearthstone biddies, man.
He
All right.
he never verified whether he checked.
Hey,
though.
all he said was great date. Great date was confirmed. We will figure
Oh,
it
he
out.
said
from there.
that?
Yeah, he did.
In the
Actually,
Skype.
hold on. I want to quote him properly. Fuck yeah, date was awesome! Exclamation point.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, Dave
There it
was
is.
awesome.
He didn't
yeah,
confirm
that's
whether he checked though.
All about the Twitch stream dating advice. Posted by yours truly. You need help with the grills, guys. Just hit me up. I got you.
All right. So
Don't
back
even
back
let
on
him
to
keep
THL related things before we digress any further.
Yeah.
All right. So we have the last matchup I wanted to discuss. Cassie, it actually involves you.
Yeah, it does.
Noob Central versus Team Rank 5. You guys are coming into this, and apparently I was incorrect when I was building the notes because it sounds to me like you are actually tied for first now
Yes, technically.
With win bonus points.
with win bonus points.
Because Energy and Pure Strategy tied last week. We and the Gosu Casuals both jumped into first place by
Oh,
1 point. Like, it doesn't mean it. It's basically a three-way tie for first right now. But
So you are sitting up there trying to hold on to the throne, and as you said, it's a close race, right?
oh yeah, it's pretty terrifying.
But Noob Central is not out of a realistic run at the playoffs.
No, and if you remember last season, they were in last place like halfway through, and then rattled off like 3 or 4 straight weeks where they scored 20 points. And I say they, but I mean we. And they jumped in and dethroned the teams that were in there and played spoiler and snuck into the playoffs. So we know they're capable of it.
According to Jedi, the facts and figures we are currently showing are actually
They're
up to date. So you might want to double check on that. It wouldn't be the first time that points weren't entirely correct. But what do you guys think? I'm going to actually ask the non-Cassidy people. D. Lyman, do you think Noob Central has a shot at dethroning Team Rank 5 this week?
I don't think so. I don't think so. To disclaimer, I don't know much about Noob Central, but looking at how they've performed the past few weeks and looking at Team Rank 5 and the cast of characters they have on that team.
Yeah, the frat party that is Team Rank 5.
It's going to be tough, man. Mange plays Leopard Gnome decks. It's going to be hard.
I feel icky.
You know what? Where is Mange tonight? I don't see him in the chat, and it makes me sad.
He's always around.
Right? I feel like
He always watches the VOD because he's a pleb.
He's a pleb.
He's probably actually on the ladder right now.
Yeah, he is. No, he really is.
He's tryharding.
So is Imbolc, but we unleashed him, so it's fine.
Unleash the Imbolc, dude. It has to happen. So this brings us to all right.
Oh wait a minute. I want to talk about Noob Central and Team.
No, you're not allowed to. Slimsh, you're trash. Stop talking. Everybody drink.
Trash, but Cassidy says I'm the MVP.
Oh, by far. Right now. I mean, you got 2 weeks to blow that, though.
Well, yeah, Katoda and Yuri are really scary. So.
Yeah.
If there's any
There you
way
go.
for it to end, it's right now. So.
You're going to get 06 and, like, not even be in the running.
So
Feels
Slimsh,
bad,
what are
man.
your thoughts on Noob Central and Team Rank 5?
Well, we the Gosu Casuals played Noob Central last week, and we had a huge week. I don't know what it's really a reflection of, but we scored 20 points. It
Damn.
was crazy.
That is a good week.
So I don't know. I don't think that's any discredit to Noob Central, though. We may have just gotten like our one big week of the season. They were doing pretty well beforehand, and they could still do well now. I know they played spoiler last season at our expense, so maybe they do that against their old friend Cassidy here in Team Rank 5.
That would suck.
I don't know. I'm probably believing pretty hard in Team Rank 5 here. They seem like a very robust team.
Since the hashtag was coined, Imbolc is 2-0. Unleash the Imbolc.
Unleash the Imbolc.
Unleash the Imbolc. Hashtag it.
He's coming for you again this week, Noob Central. He's like
Did
the
we lose?
Kraken.
Did we lose D lineman?
No, he's being an asshole.
Oh, I'm here.
Shocking.
So, a quick PSA. Guys, I'm looking into anyone interested in helping to create content for, and this would also help Tavern Talk out on keeping our show to the hour goal that we're trying to keep it to nowadays. I'm looking for people interested in a new segment. I will help you coordinate it called When the Salt Settles. It'll be either a Sunday or a Monday VOD. It could be a live show, but most likely the times I'm available on those days would make it a VOD, where we would talk about the week that was on Salty Saturday, perhaps go a little more in depth to the plays that did or did not happen. So if you're interested in that, get to me on either Facebook or Battle.net. Oh my God, these guys are blowing up the Skype chat. And
You can't tell them that. That's production
dude,
value.
they're
Wasted.
hearing the pong 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 coming through because if I mute everything over there, I lose the audio. So Apparently, the chat is appalled by our behavior. Mostly D linemen's.
What? Fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
Appalling.
Calm the fuck down. You've seen worse production.
Oh man, we're running out of
Have
beer.
you
Two
ever
now.
watched fucking one of like those other pleb shows they
Keep
have
drinking.
on phone?
Chug
Just
till
keep
it
drinking.
rants
Just
over.
don't stop. Just
Have you
don't
ever had
stop.
about this? Fuck out of here. Have you ever watched The Angry Chicken, please?
Whoa.
Wow, D lineman going off. Ladies and gentlemen.
Shots fired.
Shots are definitely fired. All right, so let's head into the Q&A time. All right, we got tons of time for it tonight.
There's
So
tons of them.
if you guys have some that we don't get to and you want to blast them in the Twitch chat, I'm going to keep D Lineman's face up for a little while longer because, quite frankly, I like looking at it. So let's kick it off with one from who's steady. By the way, shout out to Lemur for, I think every week he's given us one that we've decided to use. Starting it off with, what direction do we believe the THL is heading in the future? Do we see it branching out into different content and social media platforms, or staying comfortable where we are? I'm going to take this one first because I chose this question. I'm excited about it. We've had our Supreme Overlord on Tavern Talk to tell us that he has big dreams for the THL. I think it's always kind of been our goal to explode and continue to grow. The thing that's really been limiting us on that is the technical side, the actual power to do that with things such as a server and hosting capabilities. As you will learn in a little bit, we're gonna branch out in other ways too. This is part of the reason I wish Mange was here. I'm not joking when I say this. We have been putting together a THL Ranked 5 HOTS team.
Yeah, we're gonna play ranked teams, bro.
Come be a part of
Jaina.
that.
My magic tears people apart in HOTS.
If you're somebody that plays that game and you want to come play with us, come join us on that.
The fuck was that?
Sorry, I ate a small child.
I'm appalled by
I'm
that.
appalled by that too.
I guess we should mention real quick, since we're doing great on time. Salty Saturday is taking a week off this week, but I was talking to Mr. ESAD Note, which is what we call him in Twitch, and we're gonna try to play a ton of HOTS on Saturday.
Yeah.
If anybody else is down,
We're gonna call it. We're gonna call it Side Chick Saturday.
yeah. And the
Because
rule
HOTS
is
definitely
I
side
can't
bay.
play. I don't play HOTS unless I'm on a team full of 5 that's a pre-made because I'm stuck up and don't really like HOTS unless I'm playing it with THL fam. So we're all gonna play all night on Saturday. Be on. It's gonna be great. I'm playing Jaina. Get over it.
Yeah, I'm linking in chat. I'm linking my Twitch. If you go and look under my recently played, you can see the ridiculousness that was the last time 5 of us got together.
Oh man,
What
it's
a
so fun.
sellout.
I apologize in advance for absolutely nothing. If nothing else, coming out with us in Skype calls, it gets completely out of control and unruly. It's amazing.
Mhm.
So
And once their match is streamed, though, even if it's not on Salty Saturday, I'm that guy.
yeah,
They
that's
have
the
an
other piece
awesome
too. If you're
only to
looking,
mature audiences casting.
We need to put you and Brunson on the same casting panel and just watch.
guys, there will be
Man.
tons of people available on Saturday for side
the-
streams.
the
I
whole
know
world
I've
is
talked
cool.
about this with Slimsh already, and it looks like D Lyman might be another individual interested in doing this. We're gonna try to still get THL content out there, but I'm still playing a shitload of HOTS that day. Slims, you sound like you were gonna say something, and I cut you off because you're
I
trash.
mean,
Damn it.
God, I'm gonna get another beer if you keep talking to me this
Speaking
way.
of trash,
Might need a third one.
Oh
Oh
No, I
man,
wanna hear-
double.
I want to hear a Brunson D lineman cast. I think like the whole world would just burn down and
Power bottom chicks
Dude.
with dicks.
Dude, that's a Super Saiyan rap. That's happening. For those of you who don't know, drink is breaking rule number 2.
oh man,
Oh,
man.
Jesus Christ. That would definitely be like an NC-17 show. That wouldn't even be
So-
R-rated.
So what? How about others answering? Does anyone else want to take pokes at Eli's extremely good question here that was soiled by these dank memes?
what was it? Like?
What was the question?
The
Oh,
question was,
branching out.
what do we see the future of the THL being? Do we see it branching out into other content, other social media platforms, or staying comfortable where it's at?
I don't know. I'm an old man when it comes to this social media stuff, so you guys will have to enlighten me a bit.
I like Nuvasaurus' new rule, by the way. Whenever D starts talking, just start waterfalling your beer.
Oh, we're getting ready to the waterfall. I got a question. Where else do you go without completely rebranding it, right? Because
Yeah, I don't know.
because like right now it's called Team Hearth League, right? And as far as branching out to other social media, like we're already on Facebook. That's enough of a base. Like Twitter is like not really relevant for something like this, um,
I mean,
unless
having the Twitter account to plug it is good,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah, we
guess
can't really.
I'm skeptical on the added reach that Twitter provides that isn't
Yeah, I'm
already
with you.
provided by just simply Twitch and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But even with that, I mean, you can branch into other games like Heroes of the Storm, but then you're no longer Team Hearth League, right? And
Yeah.
then you have to completely rebrand it. So I'm skeptical about where else there is to go.
I'm trying to think of it right now because I know it exists. In chat, help me out if you can because I don't like looking this stuff up. Uh, there's actually a League of Legends team that got their name from a different game. And they're one of the best that's out there currently. I can't think of what it is, but if you guys know what I'm talking about, hit me up with that.
I don't know.
But it's it's valid that we are Team Hearth League. The Hearth very clearly comes from this game, but it's also a known entity of many other Blizzard games. You Hearth in HOTS, you Hearth in World of Warcraft. So I mean, I can
That's
see
true.
with
It's true.
staying within the Blizzard family, I can see it as something that would work. But I think we all kind of feel as a community that at least this is the way I feel, that we've evolved into something beyond just Hearthstone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're kind of a gaming community at this point.
The hot stuff is really fun.
Yeah,
getting
Slimch
to
doesn't
that.
even play. He just hangs out in his
I
stream
don't
and
play.
loves it.
There's
I don't
two
even
really
fully
good points in chat right now. Jedi mentions we could have a subreddit if we get a little larger. Like, I don't know.
Oh
I think the
yeah.
next step is maybe after season 1, season 2, we start looking at like 4 divisions rather than 2
Mhm.
conferences.
Oh,
And
big.
then
Well, I don't want to spoil
and
alert you there, but
Hamboen mentions a pro team, which I mean, we certainly have the caliber of players. We kind of have a little Skype chat going on with like Andy Rogers and D Lyman and Slimch of like a bunch of people tryharding on ladder.
Oh,
yeah.
man, I
So-
just go in that thing and cry about my ladder experience.
Me too. It's
I'm-
kind of like a Dear Diary session about tilting.
Well, that's what we're
Dear
doing.
Diary, today, Aggro
You-
Shaman.
You were crying in there earlier too.
I was like, I'm never getting past rank 5, and then I went down to like 1 star away from 7. But then we came back home to 5, and then Tavern Talk started.
And then Tavern
That's a
Talk. That
Feels
fucking
good.
show ruins everything. Especially my liver. God, Fridays have come to suck.
Oh yeah, and I'm actually teaching tomorrow.
I'm not.
Ugh.
I have
my-
a holiday party after I'm supposed to teach till 12. Fuck that. I'm showing
Till
movies.
12.
Yep.
Whatever. We're not gonna complain about teaching.
I'm
teaching's
watching
great.
Cinderella Man tomorrow, man. Fuck it. I'm good to go.
Oh, okay.
So, I definitely see big things in the future of THL, and that's where we'll wrap that up.
Wrap it up.
Next up is from the one and only Andy Rogers, who joined us here on Tavern Talk a couple weeks ago. Great show. If you didn't catch that, definitely check the VOD out on either the YouTube or I don't think it's still available on the Twitch channel. You might have to hit the YouTube up for that one. But he asks, with the death of Grim and the rise of aggro shaman / secret druid, do you guys feel, and this is definitely a question I need you three to carry, but do you feel the meta is once again becoming too aggressive?
Well, I feel like it's definitely quite aggressive, but I think the tools are out there to deal with it. Like, it's not Undertaker aggressive. It's pretty aggressive. Like, I'll queue up my aggro shaman that I've been trying out a little bit, and it'll do okay here and there, but then I'll just run into a few games on ladder where I realize, wow, people are out there, like, they're taking full consideration of this stuff when they're building their decks. Like, they're building, like, there's still quite a few Reno decks out there. Like, they might be a Reno Warlock, for example, and they might be looking in their collection for their 2-drops. They're like, hey, there's all these aggressive shamans out there. They're running 2 Doomhammers. I'm going to put an acidic Swamp Ooze in there and just ruin their dreams. And that's what happens a lot. So, I don't know. I think the meta's definitely gotten quite a bit more aggressive. There's, like, the Egg Druid, Aggro Druid, Secret Paladin. They all remain a certain level of popularity on ladder, but I definitely think that the tools are here more than ever to deal with it. We don't, and you can play Grim Patron if you want, if you really want to deal with it in that way too.
I think that
Still
there's a
valid.
misconception about the game of Hearthstone. When people say things like this meta is too aggressive, right now, this meta is about as as even keel as Hearthstone has ever really seen, right? Like Hearthstone at its core is just an aggressive game. Like you're dealing in a game where you have 30 health and you don't have instants to play. And you have a mechanic which is taunt to help curb that, but that taunt can be silenced away, right? So right now we're dealing in a game that just is aggressive. So in order to say like aggressive in and of itself is a relative term when you're going to describe a meta that way. And relatively speaking, the only way for the meta to truly be aggressive is if you're seeing a lot of leper gnomes on the ladder. That's like face decks are what's aggressive. Zoo decks aren't even like that's right around the middle of the road that you'd expect out of aggression in a Hearthstone deck nowadays. So complaining about the meta being too aggressive right now, especially when you see about 34% of the decks on ladder right now being catered towards a Reno strategy or something similar, then I I think the meta is just fine. It's incredibly diverse, and it just sucks to lose against those aggro decks because the games are fast and they feel non-interactive. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of diversity right now. Like, I have no idea what I'm queuing into when I queue up, which feels really good. And like, there's a nice, for the first time in a long time, we have a great little triangle of aggro, Reno that beats aggro. Now we have like these combo slash mid range type things that beat Reno. Like Druid crushes Reno. And then we have the aggro decks that usually can burn out those mid range combo decks. And like, it's a nice little interchange going on ladder. And there's more than one deck at each archetype level. So we're not just seeing Handlock, Patron, mid range Hunter, which is what we had for a while. So I really like where we're at too.
Mm-hmm.
So, solid question there, Andy. We appreciate it. Moving on. Coming from Mr. Detrucci, who submitted a few. We appreciate Detrucci. And by the way, another great segment of What Would You Do this week. I really like it because I was in one of the games. Go me.
Yeah, those are so fun.
They really are. Appreciate you creating that content. But Detrucci wants to know, how much of a need is there for new teams / captains? I have a lot to say on this, but I will open it up to anybody else that wants to step in first.
So I think in a perfect world, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the whole board or anything, I'm just rambling right now. But I think the perfect next step is we go from 12 teams to 16 teams, because we're in this format where we're bringing in, we have 2 conferences. We want to bring in 4 teams from each conference. Traditionally, in competitive team-based play, about half your teams make playoffs and about half don't. So I think in an ideal world, we can go to 16 teams. And then at that point, we could even look instead at doing 4 teams in 4 different divisions. I think so, assuming everybody comes back from all 12, which we've had some ups and downs. I don't think we've had any atrocious issues like in the past. And we can add 4 more, 5 more. I think that would kind of be the ideal next step. So there's definitely a need there. We're always looking for. Jedi has said himself, the biggest limiting factor in growing is finding those awesome captains, because the awesome captains are what grow the league, because good players and even not so great players become dedicated and committed with a great captain at the helm. So
I feel like the not so great players was directed at somebody that's sitting here with you.
no,
not.
no, not at all. I mean, like, the guys who are kind of like, I was super fringy when I joined THL. Wasn't super involved, just kind of did it because it was cool. And like, having a really good captain, especially last season in the form of Josaru, really spurned my interest. And so here I am, like, in love with THL. So I think like finding a bunch of captains like that, and I would say we have a ton of them right now. The more of those we get, like, the sky's the limit for this league. So
Cool. Slims, you got anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I think, so we were talking about, we were looking at, we're looking forward to season 2 here, even though season 1 is still very well ongoing. We were all kind of coming together thinking, season 1 overall feels kind of a little short. Maybe extending it by 1 week would feel pretty good, possibly even 2 weeks. And for that to happen within the 2 conference format that we have now, at the very least, it would kind of take some more teams. So,
So the question becomes,
generally
Slim.
speaking,
I'm interrupting you now because I'm gonna put you on the
trash,
spot.
right?
I'm gonna put you on the spot. No, this is not because you're trash.
Oh.
I'm gonna make a sign, and I'm gonna have it in the background next Tavern Talk that says Slimsh for Captain Season 2. And I want everybody to jump on that bandwagon with me because I would love to see a Slimsh led team. I know the rest of the THL would as well. Sorry, go ahead. You can continue talking with whatever trash thing you were saying.
Oh man, I love the Gosu casuals so much, but with great players like Michael coming in and just winning so many games, I don't know. It might just be the thing to happen for like a few guys here and there to start new teams. I definitely had fun like having my team of all-stars for the all-star thing that we had going on. So I don't know, like you definitely want I don't want to spoil too much about what's going on. You have some ideas in the background of guys who might split from teams, which is sad of course, but to start new teams and grow the league, like that's just a really exciting thing overall.
I think that's part of the challenge too. Is some of the guys that make the best captains are homegrown. They're guys that have been in the league for a while. They're guys that put in their time, really learned what the league's about. You know, it's few and far between that you do hit a captain that on their first go does a great job. You know, even my first season was atrocious as a captain. Getting my guys to play their matches was a rough time, and a lot of that was just not fully understanding what I was getting into. But a lot of these guys that would make great captains are the guys that us captains don't want to see go.
Yeah.
You know, but if you truly love this league and you love what we're doing, like as Cassie says, a lot of these captains, man, we have a passion for this league. I didn't initially, but there was something about this league that got me hooked. You know, and in order to grow the league, you have to be able to let go of players like Slimsh, Gosu Casuals. You need to let go of Slimsh so he could be a captain season 2.
Bible thump.
And it matters in keeping great players such as Cassie or D. Lyman in the league. You need to have. Notice I didn't mention you, trash.
Oh, what we got left here?
You trash.
I mean, right now, 67% of the teams make the playoffs, right? Fuck that. Like, get some new captains. Stop being fucking lazy. I'm looking at all of you in chat.
Wow.
Stop being lazy. Be captains. Have a team. Get 16 teams so that half the teams make the playoffs, like the NBA or some shit. And
chat is appalled right now.
like, drop the.
Jeez, I just put my beer down, Slim.
Lower. Like, drop the PR cap from 1850 to 1800 or 1750. You get those good players to be split amongst different teams so that every Salty Saturdays you have 2 1 seats who are the shining spot on their teams. And then that's when you get premier matches and you don't have those jobbers in the 4 slot going up against, like, you don't have those 380 versus 210 matches anymore.
Hey.
Yeah.
We like being streamed too, but that's what Team Rank Friday is for.
Well, no, but you can still have that. Just have some parity, right? So that now like the lower ranked person doesn't have to worry about going up against some legend player in the 3 slot, even though they're gonna win that matchup 2 times out of 3 because they're going up against me and I suck. But still, right?
Hey, not to jump on that, but to be honest with you, when I sat in the 4 spot, I faced a couple guys that were 400 and better. I actually have a better record against people 350 and higher than I do against people 250 and lower. And I think it's something to do with my competitive nature of if I'm not, the less I'm expected to win, the harder I try and the more I want to win.
That's great for you, right? Like, that's great for you, but you're not the rule. You know what I mean?
Let him know.
Your place is over here. Go sit.
Let him know.
I'm gonna go over here. And when D Lyman tells me I can come out of timeout, I'll come back and play.
But it's not only that, right? It also makes the PRs incredibly volatile. And when the PRs become incredibly volatile, then they become meaningless, and then you can't really make good judgments based off of the PRs themselves, right? Because like if any single match has a PR jump that's like 16, then they lose a lot of weight. It's like take chess elo for example. Someone with an over 2,000 chess elo is not gonna play a game against someone whose elo is under 1,700, for instance, right? Because it's too much of a swing and it's not worth it for the higher ranked player. And if our PR system reflects huge swings like that on a consistent basis, then it's gonna become it'll just be a number that doesn't mean anything to anyone.
It's too bad. We need more games, that's for sure, especially for the players who are new to the league and haven't had a chance to have any sort of PR get established through volume of games.
Yeah, that's true. Because a lot of PRs, are not accurate to where players currently are now.
Yeah.
And I mean that in both the positive and negative ways.
Mhm.
Because when you come into this league, you get your PR, right, and then over time, it slowly starts to level out to be where you belong. So when you've been in the league as long as I have, and your PR is as low as mine is, it's because you are as bad as I am.
Self-fired shots.
You know what, man? I love this game. I love coming on Salty Saturday and bringing Beast Druid and giving people a show. I have a good damn time with it. But to kind of wrap up this question of the new teams, new captains, because I think we'd all love to see the league grow, see more feuds and rivalries, see possibly. I would like to see kind of like an AFC, NFC, East. What like let's split it up. Let's have a Super Bowl.
4 divisions.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And let's get going. But to do that, we need quality players and we need quality captains. It's not quantity, people, because trust those of us who have sat on the board. There's nothing worse than trying to figure out what to do with a team who 3 out of the 5 players don't show up half the time. And I'm sorry if this is towards anybody that's in the chat right now, but if 3 out of 5 players don't show up each week, it's because you're a shitty leader, right?
Damn.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Yeah, get fucked.
Get
Let's
called
all
out.
drink to that.
I'm empty.
Poor preparation, Cassie. You're a shitty host.
Damn. Get fucked.
Get there.
Just try.
Free agents out there should be excited though.
Yeah, there's gonna
There's
be
new
tons
shit.
of places to expand to. We're gonna take a few more of these from Facebook, and then we'll do our partings in a little bit here. But I want to take this one just because anytime Eric asks anything of
Yes.
me, I feel like I owe that man my left leg for all that he does that you guys may or may not
God.
realize behind the scene.
Good one.
So I
I've got
hope you
2.
guys have thought about this one in advance. If not, that's what you
Oh,
get
I
for not
have
reading the
not.
script.
Oh God.
You want one of mine?
Mr.
Okay.
Necro Havoc.
No, I've got my answer.
Mr. Necro Havoc has asked if you had to make out with a Murloc, which one would it be and why?
Murloc.
Baby a triple.
So I want to start off with Slim. I know yours is good. And it makes a lot of sense. So I don't want to come to you first.
You don't even know which one I have though. I'm torn between 2 like
Well,
very
I know what
attractive
one
Murlocs
potential
here.
is. And by the way, chat, I want to shout out which Murloc are you making out with?
Oh my! You gotta tell us.
Cassidy.
All right, you ready for this?
Let's hear it.
This
I'm
is
ready.
completely on the spot. So, you know how like there's those people out there that like they meet or they mess around with or they hook up with. I mean, that's the golden ticket. You hook up with a celebrity and you post that all over Instagram, you Snapchat it, you tweet it, you do whatever you can. So, it wouldn't be enjoyable. And there's also the people that do it for like the money and the inheritance, right? And so I would make out with my man Old Murkeye because not only is he old and maybe rich, might hook me up, but he's a celebrity among the Murlocs because there's only one of him in any deck. And so I'd make sure everybody knew that your boy Cassidy got with the Murloc, not just any Murloc.
What's D. Lyman sharing?
I don't even want to click on it. I don't want to know.
Oh, you gotta click on this Imgur.
Oh, God.
I
Oh,
got
God.
the Murloc
Oh,
for
God.
you, baby. I'm gonna link it in chat too.
Oh, God.
If I'm making out with a Murloc, I'm making out with Broham Chad Murgleton.
It has to be a real one though.
It's a made-up Murloc.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
No custom Murlocs here.
Wow.
That's the one.
Wow.
He stole
What
my
is
girl,
what does
he
Tavern
stole my
Talk come
heart.
to? What does Tavern Talk come to?
Stole my girl, stole my heart. That's the
I-
one.
You better check though.
This is the
You gotta
greatest
check.
question
Sure.
ever.
Everybody drink for breaking of Rule 2, even though you
Oh,
don't
where's the
understand it.
backwash?
I have my Murloc whenever you're ready.
I'll be sure. to check
Bro,
that.
Chad
Drink
Murgleton.
again.
I can't even.
I have my Murloc.
All right, Slimsh. Who you making out with?
All right, I had a tough choice between 2 that I was considering, but I'm going with Sir Finley Murgleton, a fine gentleman
Yeah,
with a
monocle.
monocle. When he comes into battle, he says, "Who's ready for adventure?" That's what you
Oh.
want to hear right before you're about to make out with someone.
He's gonna get kinky with you.
Like, we're gonna have an adventure. It's
He's
not
gonna
just,
bite your lip and everything.
it's not gonna stop there. So I'm going with Sir Finley Murgleton. I'll discover new powers.
Wow.
Be great.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is the best.
So, uh, thank you, Slims, for picking that one because it does leave the most gallant of Murlocs open for me.
Taking my second.
After he finishes his jousting, I want the Murloc Knight to come over to me so I can give him my favor.
Ooh,
You know,
he's gonna ride into battle for you.
he's obviously got a big staff. It's right there in the picture.
Yep.
He's got a lance, man.
He
that
does.
lance that can
Big
pull,
staff
that can
to
poke
play
some
around
stuff.
with your tiny kid.
Oh God!
Oh, Jesus Christ. I feel like I need to flash the warning again.
Warning.
Whew. I'm good. So,
If you inspire him, he's gonna bring a friend to the show.
Yeah, baby.
Oh,
The
think
free
about
now.
that.
You got that Silverhand recruit in there too. Oh my God.
Oh, jeez, he's holding the
off-
camera.
Takes off that armor.
Can that Murloc Knight handle your novice engineer? We'll find out next week on Tavern Talk.
I hope you like my invention.
Oh, oh man.
I'm gonna make sure
Oh,
to check
man.
first, though.
Oh, do we even do another question after this?
You better check first. There's some other good ones.
Anything can happen, guys, from the chat.
Anything can happen.
Perfect.
Everything is awesome. Anything can happen. Just ask D. Lyman if you don't do that check first.
Yo,
Oh, jeez.
I'm telling you, man. If Broham Chad and we're on that date, if he drops something,
You gotta check.
it up. I'm checking, man.
Gotta make sure. Oh, we're gonna have to talk Tinder on somebody's stream tomorrow.
Oh, dear baby
So
Jesus.
there-
I'll
there's some
stream
other-
after this. We'll talk Tinder stories right after this.
Oh God.
This is fucking
I know.
ridiculous.
Were you gonna take more of those Facebook questions, or you want to go with the chat?
Why was there one presented in chat that's worth talking?
Let's go.
I have no idea.
Let's do
Grim had some.
well, yeah, we'll answer the really good one from Grim. And then while we're answering that, if any good ones in chat pop up, we'll do that. And we'll call
Good
it.
question.
So are we gonna are we gonna end on a serious one then?
Yeah, the last one
Yeah.
we should take is how many games does it take to fully understand a deck?
I thought that was a good question.
From Mason or Grim. I think even the most simple, quote unquote, decks probably takes about 200 games, to be honest with you. To fully like get every single intricacy and every matchup and every mulligan, I'd say 200.
Yeah.
I think it's variable. I think that I think that 200 is an incredibly high number, and I think that if the number is 200, that's indicative of someone who doesn't completely understand.
He
the
just
deck.
called you stupid as fuck.
Yeah, I suck at the game. It's fine.
Keep going. We're
Well,
all
'cause-
trash here.
Well, but let's
Oh,
be honest,
trash,
it's real,
fuck.
right? It's
Everybody
like when
drink.
you're
Just keep
given a
drinking
deck
while D
list-
Lyman's talking.
When you're given a deck list, then you should be able to look at that deck and recognize how you win the game, what gets you towards that path of victory, and what gets you what puts you in a good position to prevent your opponent's paths of victory. And if it's already a refined deck, you should be able to figure that out before playing the deck in the first place. And then simply playing the deck should just be for getting a feel of it and ironing out the certain wrinkles in your own game that you may not have realized before playing the deck in the first place, and also becoming accustomed to certain interactions in certain situations so that when you see them in the future, it takes you less time to parse through them. If it takes you 200 games to do that, then you're not really you're not really thinking about the deck before you
You're just
play it in
bad,
the
bro.
first place. I think realistically, in order to master a deck, unless we're talking about some very intricate combo deck, if it's just a mid-range deck, an aggro deck, or even most control decks, it really shouldn't take more than say 50 games to master it if you're actually thinking about the game in a way
that's
that
my
yields
problem.
success.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. I agree a lot with D Lyman. It definitely depends on like what you. I don't know. Like you have to have it depends on what certain background you have before you walk into a deck. Like for me, the example that comes to my mind is like when TGT came out, that season, all I played was Dragon Priest to Legend. All I played was Dragon Priest. My Priest started out with like 280 wins. I wound up with Golden by the end of the season. I played tons of games with that deck. I'd say I probably came to a good understanding of how Dragon Priest worked. Maybe after like 100 games or so maybe more than that. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like it came up pretty quickly though, because I played Dragon Priest before when it was bad, right? Like after Blackrock Mountain, when there weren't sufficient dragons to support the archetype, I was playing it. Like I had Twilight Guardians subbed out for piloted treaders or something like that. It was all right. So I had some kind of basic understanding. It really depends. Like if it's something completely fresh and new, which I don't know how much of there is out there. It completely depends on your experience. Like if you're entirely new to Freeze Mage, it might take, I don't know, 150 games, 200, I don't know, to like get a really good understanding of it. Freeze Mage itself was a pretty new deck to me when I came to THL. It took a little while to get a good grasp on it, but I don't know. It really depends. It's interesting.
I would have to say it does depend, and the history of me playing Hearthstone, I'm one of those people that I'm a dumbass. I don't understand it before I play it. I'm a doer, not a thinker. I usually learn through my mistakes. But I will say some decks. I just said some decks. Some decks take longer
We
than
know about
others.
some decks.
Yeah, you know, I'm checking, man.
softest.
I'm checking.
The softest noodle.
Gideon Echo just said I'm trash.
Gideon
out.
Echo.
Yo, Gideon Echo seems like he knows what he's talking about. We need to get him on Tavern Talk now.
Right? Seriously.
He knows trash when he sees it.
My response to that was just gonna be simply it depends on the deck. Some decks like Zoo for me was a very natural transition for playing. For those who do play MTG, like playing a Rakdos deck and playing Zoo feels a lot alike. Knowing when to make trades or blocks in Magic would be the reference there, and when to just take a face is kind of the important thing there. Whereas something like Freeze Mage, you know what you're looking for in the end, and you know what you need to get to, but the path to get there could take some interesting fucking turns depending on what you're up against, and it doesn't always look pretty. It took me a long time to realize all the different ways to get to that final, one turn I could deal 28 damage to your face, deal with it. So I would say it depends on the deck, and those are the only two decks I would ever dare to consider saying like I feel close to understanding completely. But I'm just a little 150 PR player. What the fuck do I know?
Freeze Mage is a good example because like that's another combo deck, right? Like combo decks are a tremendous exception to that rule.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning.
Those are incredibly high skill decks. Grim Patron was a very high skill deck. Miracle Rogue was a very high skill deck. Those are the ones that are really difficult and take a lot of games because it's difficult to look at that deck list and then conceptualize things, right? Yeah.
So, I know we said we're going to end on that one, but one really good question just came up in chat. And this will be the question we'll end on.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is a great one. So Vendy Click asks, as long as the deck doesn't auto-lose to the majority of decks in the meta, in theory, shouldn't any deck be able to make it to Legend with enough intelligent play?
Yep.
Well,
any refined deck, right? Like any good deck.
Gotta win 55% is really the target you shoot for. You win 55% of your games, yeah.
You can make it to Legend from rank 20 winning 48% of the games. You don't even need a 50% win rate, right? You just need to win 25 more than you lose once you get to rank 5.
a lot of play.
Wait, how is that 48? Oh, like
Because
overall. Got it.
Win
Yeah.
streaks.
Yeah.
But realistically, yeah, the majority of decks that are good, yeah, can make it to Legend. Like if you look at say like Temple Storm's meta snapshot, however you feel about where they've placed certain decks is irrelevant. All of those decks are probably good enough to make Legend, whether they're tier 1 or
Definitely.
tier 4.
Yeah.
And the comfort and the skill you have on the deck is more relevant than how quote unquote tiered the deck is.
Yeah.
Like the first recommendation people say for people trying to push to Legend is play the same deck. Like if you're trying to get there the first time, play the same deck the whole season. You get a feel for the plays, the mulligans, and then how you can tech, like given your certain meta. Like what cards do I sub out or in given what I'm seeing a lot of lately. So definitely, that should help you get to Legend. Or you can be like me and go on tilt and lose with 8 different decks every day and whine about it in Skype. That works too.
And Vendy, I fully recognize that we're ignoring the second half of your question, but ain't got time for that. Slim, did you have something you wanted to add in there? some trash statement you wanted to give us?
Yeah, some trash from me. Take it with a grain of salt, of course.
I'll take it with
No,
some
yeah,
alcohol because that's what the rule says to do.
like you should be able to get there. Like I don't know, like you might run into a few games here and there where you lose like maybe 2 back to back, and you might start to have some doubts about your deck. But I don't know. At that point, you should know objectively like where you stand with that deck. You just kind of have to believe in it
Yeah.
a little bit at some point. And if not, then I don't know. Like Cassidy said, go back to the board, tech a little bit. A good number of decks have flexibility for that sort of thing.
Yeah, the
Not
question
all of them are so
isn't so
refined.
much. Yeah, when it comes to like those refined decks, the question isn't so much can it make legend. The question is how long.
Yeah.
Right.
How many games do you have time for? And given that, then you should pick a deck that has a projected win rate that you can comfortably make it to legend with.
And the time per game is important too.
Right.
Like those aggro shamans right now are playing games in like 6 minutes. So if you can win 55-60% of your games on that deck, that's the deck to play. If all you care about is getting to legend.
I've
Yeah.
never made legend, but last season I got my highest finish ever, and I did it playing just one deck that I was comfortable with all the way through the season. So that's my input on that.
that was a good finish. I mean, just a little more, you can start pushing into those ranks. for
Yeah,
sure.
in that I think that last season it came down to time. I didn't start seriously laddering until about halfway through the month.
Yeah.
And I just ran out of time. You know, I had about 4 stars in rank 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ran out of time. So another thing that ran out of time is this show tonight. But I definitely had a blast, man. This was a lot of fun tonight. Just a quick PSA before we give our parting thoughts. I know I said it once. I just want to say it again. Please join us on Saturday for Side Chick Saturday.
Side chicks.
As we play a ton of hots. There'll probably be alcohol involved. There'll probably be a whole bunch of things that we regret that we said come Sunday, or a whole bunch of things that we're really fucking happy we said come Sunday. Also, if you are interested in putting together some sort of pseudo Salty Saturday, I don't want to call it that because we will not have Verde, we will not have Hearthstone. It's questionable whether or not we'll get Cassidy.
If I'm around, sure.
So we'll see what happens with that. But if you're interested in being one of the players or in some way, shape, or form helping making it happen, please hit me up on either Facebook or Battle.net or email or any of the other. You know, you can call me on my cell phone late night when you need my love. Make that hotline bling. So, parting thoughts. We'll start with our guest, who was a blast. Really glad he came through this week, D. Lyman. Anything you want to share with the folks before we go?
Blizzard, please remove Unstable Portal from the game. And if you're playing a best of 5 against me ever, just know that if you bring Mage, it's going to get banned.
Okay.
Wow.
A little insight there. You can use that as a bait.
Not due to respect for Freeze Mage. It's all about Unstable Portal.
Yeah, fuck that card.
Slimsh, party thoughts for the folks.
No, just thank everyone. I'm not directly engaged with the chat here. I hope some of the new free agents I saw come onto the Facebook.
Yeah,
page
man, we
today
had a few new bodies in here tonight.
Showed
Really
up.
good to see them.
Yeah, that's just extremely, extremely cool. Just for those guys to come in and get some kind of exposure of what it's all about, to be part of this league. It's a shame we don't have Salty Saturdays, but we'll have Side Chick Saturdays. There'll be something going on.
Yeah,
You
it's
just have to
definitely
pay
something.
attention to the Facebook group. You'll see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. I really love these Tavern Talks. I think tonight's was a really good one. D. Lyman was an excellent guest, and I think we hit some of the times that we were looking for. We had tons of times to just take these questions, hang out, have a fun time. I don't know. It's just really, really great stuff overall.
Cassidy, I see you intently reading the chat over there. Do you have parting thoughts, or there he goes? He snapped back to us.
Just more of the usual. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Tons of fun. Good luck this weekend, unless you're in Red Conference and not on Team Rank 5, in which case I hope you all lose a lot.
You're not gonna wish me luck. You said
No,
I'm
I need you and Zenergy to like tie, so that we
okay.
can cement ourselves
That'd
near
be
the top
ideal.
of the conference.
Wow. He said
So-
no luck to you, Slimsh. Folks, as always, thank you for being here. We steady keep at like the same viewer rate, and it feels really good to know that you guys are coming back week after week and joining us here. I look forward to this day all week long. I don't look forward to Fridays at all. They've become the foggiest of Fridays. But really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come hang out with us here at Tavern Talk. I'm going to continue to challenge you guys. We haven't come close to hitting that viewer cap that I want to hit. I want to put Salty Saturday in its place and tell them that Thursdays are the new Saturdays. Let's make it happen. Thank you for all the new people that showed up this week. Tell your friends about us. Bring more new people. I'm sorry I am Danny Wu that you just got here. It does feel bad, man. We would have loved to have had you here the whole time. We will be here same time, same place next week. Thank you all so much for being here. We out.